I'm from a grimy era, let's talk about it. Gotta keep a pole, can't walk without it. Did some things in the streets, but I won't talk about it. Seen some things in the streets, but I won't talk about it. I'm from a hood that's thorough, they don't play here. And they don't play on these blocks, it ain't a daycare. A new kid gets shot every day here. I guess that's why my heart colder than the rain there. dvderatv back at y'all with another one. Y'all know the slogan. Let's get straight into this one. Now, before we start this video, let me give y'all some honorable mentions of people that were shot in their head as well. You can look their story up and see what happened in their situation. Now, King Louie, he's a rapper from Chicago. He would survive a bullet to his head, and y'all can go check him out and hear his story. Also, Tupac was grazed in his head during his quad studio shooting and robbery. I think most of us heard about this situation, but if you didn't, go check that out as well. And also, Neek Bucks out of Harlem. Now, he supposedly took a shot to his head and didn't find out the bullet was still in his head till like 3 years later. Now, of course, I know I'm missing some rappers, but let me know in the comment section who I'm missing, and I'll spin back and do a part 2. Now, let me say this. Some of these people in this video was grazed. It's a difference between being grazed and having an actual bullet in your head, but either way you put it, it's still a traumatic situation. Now, Conway the Machine is a rapper from Buffalo, New York. He's 1/3 of Griselda, along with his brother Westside Gunn and cousin Benny the Butcher. Conway's been making noise in the underground hip-hop scene before getting a spark with their boom-bap hardcore hip-hop sound and catch the ears of hip-hop moguls like Eminem and Jay-Z. Griselda would be affiliated with Shady Records and Rock Nation and end up blowing up big after getting a core following. Conway the Machine will put out projects like From a King to a God, God Don't Make Mistakes, and Everybody Is Fool mixtape series, and work with artists like Eminem, 2 Chainz, Lil Wayne, and Method Man, just to name a few. But before all his success in the rap game, in 2012, he'll be shot in his head, neck, and shoulder after leaving the club.
I don't even really know what happened, to be honest with you. I was drunk as hell, so I don't really remember the events that took place from the club up to when I got shot. But I guess niggas followed the truck, follow me back. I'm dropping the homies off. I just remember being in the driveway. You know what I'm saying? I guess I drove the homies. I drove the truck. You know what I'm saying? It was about 4 or 5 of us in the truck. Just pulled up and like sprayed the back of the truck up. And like hit me in the back of the head, in my neck, and in my shoulder. And I heard some shots. But they sounded like faint. Like they was like mad block. Like they wasn't even around. Like them shit sounded like fire as hell.
Now, Conway would survive his injuries, but he'll be left with his face partially paralyzed. Now, Obie Trice is a rapper from Detroit, Michigan. After Bizarre D12 heard Obie's music and built a relationship with him, Bizarre would meet up with Eminem to play him Obie's music. Now, while playing Obie's music for M, Bizarre would strangely get a phone call from Obie, so Bizarre would invite Obie to meet Eminem in person, being that he was close by at the time. Obie Trice would eventually sign to Shady Records and go on the anger management tour along with Eminem, and after he created a buzz for himself, Obie Trice would drop his debut album for Cheers, September 23rd, 2003. The album would debut at number 5 and sold about 250,000 records his first week. His debut album, which featured artists like Eminem, Lloyd Banks, 50 Cent, and Nate Dogg, just to name a few, would eventually go gold. Now, with all the success that Obie was getting in the music industry, he was gearing up to drop his sophomore album for Second Rounds on Me, but before he could drop his singles for Snitch and Cry Now and work with artists such as Akon, Trey Songz, and Trick Trick, just to name a few, Obie Trice would find himself in some trouble that he might not made it out of. Now, according to Obie Trice, on December 31st, 2005, he went to Club Envy to meet up with comedian Mike Epps, but when he arrived at the club, Mike Epps was gone. Now, as he left the club, 6 shots was fired at Obie and struck him in the back of his head.
I'm talking to my daughter's mother. It was just a whistling sound. Like 5 bullets just came through the vehicle, and the 5th one struck me in the back of the head.
Now, I'm going to get into an article from TMZ explaining the whole situation with Obie Trice being shot in his head. Now, this article dates back to December 31st, 2005. December 31st, Obie Trice was shot early Saturday while driving on the city highway, police said. Trice, a Detroit native and protege of Eminem, was on Large Freeway about 1:10 a.m. when his vehicle was shot at by someone in another car, said Michigan State Police Mario Gonzalez. Trice managed to continue driving and exit the freeway in a suburb of Southfield, where his girlfriend, who was also in the vehicle, flagged down police. Gonzalez said the girlfriend wasn't wounded. He was taken to Providence Hospital, where he was treated and released, said the hospital spokesman Brian Taylor. There were no suspects in the shooting, which was under investigation by the state police detectives, Gonzalez said. Trice has performed on Eminem Records and with 50 Cent. His 2003 album Cheers was produced by Eminem, and he also had a small part in the feature 8 Mile. So basically, Obie Trice and his baby moms was on the highway after leaving the club, and a car pulled up behind him and fired 5 to 6 shots, striking him in his head. Now, when Obie was in the hospital being treated for his bullet wound in his head, the doctor decided to leave a bullet in his skull because he said it was dangerous to remove it. Now, Obie even states when he got out the hospital and he went to get his car back from the cops, he found some of the bullets that was fired at him inside his car still. Now, what it sound like to me is that he found them bullets because the cops really ain't do no investigation. Now, Obie Trice mentioned him being shot in his head on a song called Cry Now off his second album. Now, one of the reference he made involving the shooting on his song was him saying, X-rays say I was this close to heaven, so for future reference, I stayed close to a weapon. Now, after Obie Trice was shot, he'll leave Shady Records in 2008 and put out 2 records that didn't do too well, for his 2012 release for Bottoms Up and for his 2015 release for The Hangover. Now, Obie Trice will have some legal issues recently. Supposedly, Obie shot his girlfriend's teenage son during an argument back in 2019, 2020, and he was sentenced to 90 days in jail. And in 2022, Obie was arrested and given a $10,000 bond for using a phone to harass and threaten someone. But anyway, Obie Trice is alive and well, and he survived the shot to the head to be able to talk about it, so salute to him. Now, we all know the story of Troy Ave and Taxstone altercation at Irving Plaza at T.I.'s concert that ended with Troy Ave homeboy Banger being shot and killed, and Troy Ave being shot in his legs and arrested after. Now, even though the situation was heavy in media, it seems like everyone overlooks a few months after the whole Irving Plaza situation, Troy Ave would be shot again, this time in his head and his back on Christmas Day. Now, according to Troy Ave, before going to a family dinner for Christmas, he stopped in East Flatbush to a tailor spot where he was having some hats made, and he'll drop off some extra money so the hats can be produced quicker. Now, as he was leaving to meet his mother for this family dinner, as he was parked in his car with his lady friend, a dude would walk up on the driver's side of his Maserati with his hoodie down and raise his arm. But before he can shoot, Troy would jump at the shooter and scream out, "You ain't no killer."
I just yelled mad loud at the kid, you know what I'm saying? You ain't no killer.
The shooter would begin to fire shots at Troy Ave, striking him in his back and head. Troy would try to drive off, but ended up crashing. Troy would end up getting stuck in his car, but his girlfriend would help get him out.
I tried to open the rooftop to get out the roof, and SH0T pulled me out, and we got to jog to the hospital.
Now, Troy Ave and his girl would flag down cars and knock on cars for a ride to the hospital, but no one would stop. But Troy Ave would wrap his head with his girlfriend's scarf, and finally a minivan would stop for him and take him to the hospital.
This guy stopped. He said, "Get in." He on the phone with his wife. She said, "What happened?" He said, "Baby, somebody got shot." And she just started praying the whole ride there.
Now, I'm going to get into an article from CNN from 2016. It says Brooklyn rapper Troy Ave, wounded in a fight this spring that led to a charge of attempt murder, was shot and wounded again. The latest incident took place on Christmas Day in Brooklyn when a man approached the rapper while he stopped at an intersection, authorities said. Troy Ave, whose real name Roland Collins, attempted to drive when a gunman shot several rounds into the rapper red Maserati, according to Collins' attorney John Stella. Collins was taken to Brookdale Hospital, a medical center in Brooklyn, where he was in stable condition after sustaining a shoulder wound and a graze wound to the head, Stella told CNN. He went into surgery late Sunday night as doctors worked to extract a bullet that passed through Collins' shoulder and became lodged in his back. Collins' girlfriend, who was in the car passenger seat, was not injured. The gunman remains unidentified and at large. According to New York Police Department Lieutenant John Gripple, Collins said he could only see the shooter wore a hoodie that hid his face, according to Stella, who spoke to Collins in the hospital. Thankfully, he will survive the second attempt on his life, said Scott Lehman, another attorney representing Collins. Tonight, Troy Ave was targeted again on Christmas in Brooklyn, going to meet his family for the holiday. He was shot 2 times, Lehman said in a statement. As we said from the beginning, he is a victim. We pray for his speedy recovery. Now, I just want to say this, no matter how you feel about Troy Ave, whether you felt he told, whether you felt he was right or wrong in the whole Irving Plaza situation, whether you felt he went in there and started things, or if he just was on the opposite side of the gun and he was just a victim, you gotta admit this whole situation is crazy. Now just think about it. His man got shot and killed right in front of him earlier that year. The same situation he was shot in, and he had to get the gun and go after the shooter. And then after that, he set up in jail for a minute. He finally comes home, start living his life. Then later that year on Christmas, a day you're supposed to spend with your family and enjoy yourself, he gets shot in the head and back. Now, this situation is crazy. No matter how street you are, no matter how tough you are, you definitely get some PTSD behind it. You know, Troy Ave, luckily, he made it out. Now, I know what y'all gonna say. Taxstone is not a rapper. He's a podcaster. But I felt like he's part of the hip-hop culture, and he had a very interesting story, so I just wanted to share it because I know a lot of people don't know about this. Now, Taxstone is a social media personality from East New York, Brooklyn. Tax will get his claim to fame off of Twitter in the last days of the DVD era. Taxstone will get a large following off of Twitter from what we call in these days as trolling. And he'll eventually get the attention of Loudspeakers Network podcast hosts. And in 2015, he'll appear on the Brilliant Idiots podcast with Charlamagne the God. He will also get the attention of Kid Fury, who recommended him to the network boss Conway Jack, what led to him getting his own podcast for tax season. Now, Tax will also have back and forths with Cameron and Math Hoffa, and his most famous beef with Troy Ave, what led to the death of Troy Ave homeboy, Banger, R.I.P. Now, Tax was arrested back in 2017 and recently went to trial and was sentenced to 35 years in prison for the shooting death of Banger. Now, before Taxstone became a popular personality on Twitter and a big podcaster, and before the shooting incident in Irving Plaza, Taxstone will find himself in some trouble he might not made it out of. Now, in the DVD era, Taxstone will be shot in his face with the bullet passing his eye, exiting the right side of his head, leaving him blind in his left eye from the gunpowder residue. Now, supposedly, Tax will be bullying a kid from his neighborhood that was friends with his ops. According to Tax, he would grab this guy by his butt and kiss his girl in front of him and even spit on him one day in front of his mother. Now, supposedly, Tax will see this kid that he was bullying one day while he was driving, and he'll hop out his car and he'll go and smack this kid from behind as he was walking in the building and began choking him out.
Walked up behind him, I slapped him mad hard, and then I put him in a fiend. I was choking him out.
Now, as he was choking him, the guy would pull his gun out and shoot Tax in the face. Now, after Tax was shot, he'll pull out his gun and shoot at the guy who shot him and accidentally shot a little girl and a lady who were innocent bystanders.
Kid moms I went to school with got shot, and a little girl got shot in the building also.
Now, Taxstone will be arrested for the shooting but released shortly after because the lady who was shot didn't cooperate in court because she knew Tax because he went to school with her son. Now, the shooting left Tax blind in one of his eyes, and he also couldn't get erect for about 2 months. Now, this whole situation is definitely crazy, and this situation definitely could have went left for Taxstone if that bullet would have went through his head. And even when he shot the innocent bystanders, the little girl, bless her, and the lady, they could have lost their life as well. Now, let this be a lesson to all you young boys out there. If someone's not bothering you or they not built like that, leave them alone because you never know what someone's capable of doing when they're scared.
I always tell people, like, don't bully people because a dude that I bullied shot me, you know what I mean?
And if you think about it, the whole Troy Ave situation could be looked at as bullying as well. R.I.P. to Banger. It's sad how the whole situation played out. But anyway, jump in that comment section and let me know what y'all think. Now, Uncle Murda is one of the most entertaining rappers coming out of East New York, Brooklyn. He's mostly known for his yearly wrap-up where he don't hesitate to speak on events that happen throughout the year of some of your favorite entertainers. Uncle Murda is always known to speak his mind and be very blunt. And being that he has no filter, at times he even say things that ruin relationships with other rappers. But in January 2008, while Uncle Murda was on a come-up in the rap game, it will be reports of Uncle Murda being shot in his head. Now, it was reported that he wasn't seriously injured, and Uncle Murda made light of the situation, saying the police did it, and also said he was recovering by drinking Hennessy and smoking Newports, and even had a song called Hard to Kill on his Hard to Kill mixtape where he details the night of the shooting. But here's the plot twist. Not too long ago, Uncle Murda did an interview with the Danza Project, and he basically admitted he was lying about being shot in the head with the hopes of having his music career take off.
I lied about getting shot in the head because I wanted to, like, maybe I could get this whole Tupac 50 Cent wave going on right now. Let me act like I got shot. Police even came to the precinct like the whole shit, thinking like, yo, did you get shot? And I'm like, yeah, the police shot me. But you know what happened was, it was a piece of glass, because I was actually in the car that did get shot up. So it was a piece of glass from the, I guess when the bullets hit the window, a piece of glass from the window actually cut my head.